MyMac Podcast 964. Make it look like Windows.
And welcome everyone to the MyMac.com podcast. This is 964 in a series of God only knows how many it'll end up being. Now, the macOS is great. That doesn't mean you can't make it better. And this week, we're going to look at some of the apps that have the potential to make that experience even better. Even if they did, I'm going to start again. Too many. It just didn't come out right.
Yeah, it was just.
It's a fine. Yeah. And welcome everyone to the MyMac.com podcast. Now, the macOS is great, but that doesn't mean that it can't be made better. This week, we're going to look at some of the applications that have the potential to make your computing experience better, even if they didn't come from Cupertino. There we go. Said it right that time, Gaz. How you doing?
I'm doing very sponifically well, thank you. Yes,
I'm so
very
happy.
well. Yes, and so am I. I'm happy that you're happy, especially after a text I received from you, which made it look like I'd done a real bad.
I was so angry.
Yeah,
I was
so angry
pirate boy.
So, who could think that Siri, presumably listening to your voice when you're texting, or even if it was assuming you was going to say something else, could mistake laugh for left. Yeah, and that nearly ruined a beautiful relationship.
Well, no, because Siri was wrong.
Well, Siri was so wrong. Yes, so wrong. Anyway, I'm very good. Another bike ride this week. Met my cousin last night, who's actually coming off the back end of a quite a big lung cancer scare that he had a couple of years ago. 4 years ago, he jumped into it, and he's been having treatment ever since, and he's pretty much through it. And it was quite a scary thing for him. So always good to see him come over. We're always good to see him come over, and he's fit and healthy now. So there's always optimism got to be out there. He brought a load of wood over for us, actually, which is good. I'm always looking for wood. Yeah.
So your cousin gave you wood. Yeah. Good to know.
Good to know. We've done walks, lots of walks this week. I went to see someone about a battery today. Now, I could really jump into that and go hell bent, but basically we are looking at having solar and a battery pack in. Oh, that's funny. In the house.
Two of our neighbors in our neighborhood just put like big, huge solar panels.
I'm glad that those neighbors of yours are in your neighborhood.
Yeah. We're talking about people in my neighborhood. Was that
so we're looking.
Street?
We're looking. We didn't see too much Sesame Street over here. We saw a bit, but I didn't watch a lot of it. Anyway, we're looking at solar and having a battery as well. Very little on MyMac. Although I did join Carl and the gang for the Mac and Forth show this week.
Did you?
I did. With reference to the comment that I'd made just a few seconds ago about having text me about left and laugh. I did make a comment about at least I've got more than one eye. Which I knew that you take it as a joke, but it did go fairly flat in the show.
Oh, with the guys on the Mac and Forth show?
Yes, they kind of thought, too soon, Gaz, too soon.
I was making jokes about this the week after it happened.
I know. Anyway.
Doesn't bother me at all, Gaz.
Look, Carl, maybe it just wasn't funny. That could have been it as well.
I left it.
I know you left. There's a story there.
Yeah. Maybe later.
Wolf in the background barking at something or other. I don't know what. Anyway, I did mention again that I really need to get the gang over onto our show at some point.
Sure.
And I don't mean Carl. I mean the other members of the gang. So, but I think they're shy.
Well, what do they think is going to happen?
Well, shy or scared. I think they're probably scared, to be honest with you.
Okay, you know what? I almost understand the scared part, because for people who have never met me,
I'm not surprised that they're scared, because I'm scared every damn week. I've got to be honest.
For people who haven't met me, I can be a little intimidating. But what you see on this show,
teddy bear.
I am. What you see on this show is this is pretty much how I am.
Anyway, mostly. I got a new toy this week as well.
Ooh,
which it's a new vacuum cleaner, but it's a battery-powered vacuum cleaner. It's a gadget guy, and it really does a good job. I got it really cheap as well. Yeah, actually, I should have told them on the Mac and Forth show, because Alan's always coming up with that Storm Gorelli, always coming up with bargains, and this was a real bargain. Reduced from £269 down to £199. Reduced from that with a voucher I got down to £120.
That is a good deal.
And just useful to, when you got a little bit of dirt that you want to quickly sweep up, or because it's battery powered, I can use it in the car. You see,
wasn't there one of them that was like for a couple of weeks really obsessing about robotic vacuum cleaners?
Well, yes,
I always think he had a story about that.
I've actually got one which is behind my chair. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can't see it because my chair's in the way. Actually given to me by a friend of ours, and at times it can be quite frustrating, because the thing is, if you've got a clean floor, this is like being back at work. We want a clean desk scenario so that when you leave the office, you've got no paperwork on your desk, so that the cleaners, when they come through, can clean your desk. Well, it's a bit like that. I mean, a vacuum cleaner, one of these robotic ones, because, any bits of carpet or loose toys or dog treats or something, and it can get anyway.
So you've got to clean before you can clean.
No. To be fair, you got to tidy up before you can.
Okay.
So
there is on my wife.
There is a subtle difference there. There is a subtle difference.
My wife is always on me when I'm doing the dishes and loading up the dishwasher. She's like, "Well, make sure you get all that food off, and that before." It's like, the hell are we putting them in the dishwasher for?
Well, I do have OCD in putting stuff in the dishwasher, because when I like to take all the cutlery out, I like to take the spoons out and put them in the spoon section. I like to take knives out, put in the knives. If they're all mixed up, I can't deal with that. That's just too much. Anyway,
you would hate our dishwasher then.
Yes.
When it comes off cycle, you would just look at it and just lose your mind.
Yeah. I'd just stand there and shake my head. Anyway, how about you? What have you been up to this week?
Okay. I don't remember if I talked about this last week, but I've got the travel plans set up to see the next eclipse, which is April 8th, I think. I think I talked about it last week.
In the US. I don't think we've got it over here, have we? We haven't, no.
No, it's coming from the north, going through the northern part of New York State, and then kind of in the northern part of Ohio before it starts to dip down. And then it meets with the same path as the eclipse from 2017, somewhere in Indianapolis. And from what I've been able to gather, that's the place that you want to be, because that was the nexus point of the previous. It's like, oh, shut up. Okay. Yeah, it's an eclipse, which means that the sun is going to go completely out.
So is it a full eclipse? You'll see the ring as well.
Yes, there is. Honestly, if you're making special plans to see the eclipse, going to where it's in totality is kind of the only way to go. Otherwise, it's just like, oh, it's gotten a little darker. And then that's it. Oh, but there's so much weird stuff.
It's an inverse moon.
Yes. Yeah. There's so much weird stuff that happens leading to totality, with the wildlife and animals and bugs and everything else that's in your area. Not to mention how people start from like a low moan as it starts to cross to just completely losing their minds when it goes into totality.
Yeah.
It is so crazy.
I can imagine.
So, but if you've never experienced an eclipse before, seeing it in totality is the way to go. Okay. But it is proving to be a little pricey. especially because we waited as long as we did before we made any arrangements. It's going to be.
Well, you know what the moon's like. If it's going to have an eclipse, it's going to be commercially active. You know,
yeah,
it's got to make money, isn't it, up there?
Well, yeah, and it's for a lot of these places. These are like one-time events, so you cash in where you can, and I get that. But it is still kind of like, wow, really, you're going to charge me that much to stay in your little crappy hotel? Fine. Because it's not, if it was here in the Washington D.C. area, I'd be like, oh, great, who cares? We'll just drive to wherever the totality is. No, we're going to be in Rochester, New York, so we have to fly there, and of course, flights are expensive.
I thought Rochester was in Kent.
No, this is the U.S. This is the good Rochester.
Oh, careful! Very careful.
The people that live in Rochester in the UK. You will never see me. You will never see me. So I'm okay saying those things because if I can piss off MyMac.com and the Germans, I have no problem pissing off the people in Rochester in the UK. Anyway, it's going to be like 4K, so it's very, very pricey. And unfortunately, that also means
in real life, you're not going to watch it on a 4K screen, are you?
No, I'm talking about 4K in money, in dollarinos.
I know. I'm jesting.
But that means I have to put the kibosh on my Florida trip that I was kind of looking forward to doing, at least until later next year, because 2 pricey trips in a row. My buddy Dave, I was telling you about, he's leaving at the end of the month to go on a cruise, and then he won't be going back to that apartment. So my free place to stay while I was there is gone, and 8 to 9 days in hotels in Florida. Yeah, you're talking a lot of money, and so it's like, okay, well, maybe later in the year. I know my son Peter is
Mrs. Guy going with you to see the eclipse? I assume she is.
Yes, she is going to see the eclipse. She never goes with me to Florida because she doesn't like going to Florida. So. Every time I go down there, it's either with my son Peter, or I'm going down to see my brother Bill or my brother Larry or some of the friends that I had that are A, still alive, and B, acknowledge that I exist down in South Florida. And the B part is the part that's really, really important, because I'm sure there's a lot of people going, oh, guys coming down? No.
Yeah, we're out.
No. Yeah. It's like Steve Jobs would have something to say about that, probably.
He probably would. So what would you say, Steve?
No.
See, yeah. If I was going to Cupertino 20 years ago.
Awesome.
Yeah, except I would be going to go see Steve. What would he say about that?
No.
Yeah, see, I know. I know.
What he'd say is
driving us crazy.
Pretty much.
And
yuck.
Yeah. Speaking of yuck, I'm using a different microphone this week. Yes.
I can't believe it.
I know.
I just don't think that you've got enough mics in that house of yours.
Well, it has been spoken of that maybe I don't have enough microphones.
Oh,
this one, as part of my silly microphone obsession. Oh, did Wilf just push his way in?
Yes, he did. Yes. Come here then, dog.
Is he trying to run away? He says, oh, I see that big guy on screen. I'm running.
He's run away.
This week in my silly microphone obsession,
now, if you watch the YouTube video, you'd see him come in there, folks.
Yeah, that would be like job number 1 to see that.
Anyway, sorry.
No big
new
deal.
mic.
The microphone I'm using is and I know I'm going to butcher this, the Byway Lee BF414, which is
you got the BF414 completely wrong.
I did? How did I get that wrong?
Well, that's the point.
Oh, that's the joke. Okay. I get jokes.
How long have we known each other?
Gaz, I missed out on that almost every single time.
You big yank tank.
Yeah. So this is a condenser microphone from AliExpress. It costs about $73 plus shipping. Has a 25 millimeter capsule, Gaz, with a frequency range of 40 hertz to 16 kilohertz, which really is not that impressive. Besides the microphone, it came with a shock mount, which is very nice, and a XLR cable of dubious quality. But it was nice that they included it. So far, I've done a couple of tests on this, and we'll see how it sounds on the recording. But I'm pretty happy with it. As a matter of fact,
it's sounding all right.
I went old school, and instead of having this plugged into
sounding any different to any of the mics you've got.
I know. Instead of going through my Motu M4 audio interface, I actually have this currently plugged in, and I haven't used it in a while, and I don't know why. The Behringer UV1, which is their DBX 286 clone. And for people who deal with audio, they know what a DBX 286 is. But of course,
wake up, everyone! Wake up!
It's Behringer's copy.
He's going to stop talking about mics in a minute. Don't worry, he's going to stop talking about mics in a minute. Don't worry.
So I got a little compression on. I've got a little bit of low frequency and attenuation, but this is what this microphone sounds like, and I'm kind of impressed with it. It's a nice microphone for the money.
Are you insured?
My microphones? No. Yeah. Oh, no. Mrs. S would probably be like, oh, all his microphones got burnt up in that fire?
Yeah.
Sad face.
Yeah.
Pick up that $25 one that you bought 10 years ago and should have been using this entire time. You silly, silly man. All right, that's it.
Okay, let's jump straight in to
quickly
Gazzy snippets, because this show is not going to be as long as last week's show.
No.
Apple has opposed Oregon's right to repair bill, and it has defended parts pairing. Oregon is mulling State Senate Bill 1596, a piece of right to repair legislation. Apple agrees with much of the bill, but has a major issue with the proposed legislation's parts pairing policy. I'm sure you can find that story online if you want to dig deeper, folks. Now, there was lots of talk about Jon Stewart. You know, when he left Apple.
Oh, yeah, I was going to bring this up. I'm glad you
There was quite a lot of he's gone because, conspiracy. And then it came out, no, he just, show was diving. Yeah, he's just left because of that. Well, apparently, Jon Stewart has taken a bit of a jab at Apple as he reveals why he left the very small Apple TV Plus. Jon Stewart is returning to The Daily Show on Comedy Central this week after parting ways with Apple last year. In an interview with CBS Mornings Today, Stewart commented on his departure from Apple for the first time. According to Stewart, Apple didn't want me to say things that might get me being Jon Stewart, in trouble.
Yeah. Censorship then. This is that, and here's the crazy part. For people who have been listening to this show for a long time, we talked about this subject. It was actually the main focus of one of our shows.
It was.
And then the very next week, when they were saying, no, it was because of, the ratings.
We backtracked on it. Yeah.
We backtracked the hell out of it. And as it turned out, I was right.
You might have smashed it out of the park.
Yeah, but just didn't know it.
Just didn't know, which is pretty normal for us.
It is. Not knowing things? Yeah. Yeah.
Peloton's gym kit support is ending, but it shouldn't matter too much. More on this story just a little later.
I wonder why it doesn't matter.
iMessage antitrust threat removed as the EU says it's not a dominant service. So the iMessage antitrust threat hanging over Apple has now been removed as the EU decides that the messaging service does not have enough European users to qualify as a dominant service. Could have told them that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Might be more dominant in the US, but not over in Europe. Apple has bought iWork.ai, which I presume is a domain, which raises hopes more than expectations.
Yeah.
Apple has bought the web domain iWork.ai, which some are taking as evidence of plans to introduce major new artificial intelligence features into the company's productivity suite. We shall see, Guy.
Oh, I thought that meant they were bringing back iWeb.
No.
No.
Steve, can you just confirm that?
No.
Thanks.
Yeah. iWeb, not coming back.
Yeah.
No.
I liked it.
Just to confirm. More details on Apple's legal victory over a live core is now available. Last week, Apple was handed a significant victory in its legal battle with a live core over the Apple Watch's heart monitoring technology. At the time, however, the full details of the decision were unavailable for confidentiality reasons. However, this week, the judge in the case has released the public version of the court's decision, siding with Apple. Well done, Apple. I'm not going to go in further. That's snippets. Apple may finally disable camera reactions in iOS 17 and macOS 14 by default. Yes, please, Apple. Yes, please. Yeah. Absolutely. Apple's longest-serving designer to retire.
So he's a going.
No, Sal's are gone.
Yes. Sal's a long gone.
Sal's a long gone. Cost-cutting efforts are causing unrest inside the design team, Guy. Dum, dum, dum. I put this in, but I didn't really read too much into it, and I'm not sure whether I'll mention it. Apple
keyframe. You've gone this far.
Apple Keyframer generates AI animation from still image and text prompt. Apple has announced an innovative new artificial intelligence tool which can enable anyone to create animations. Apple Keyframer is an AI animation generator that needs nothing other than a still image and a text instruction.
There was a service that we talked about some time ago that did this, and I tried it out. They gave you like 3 tries to put in a still image, and it would animate a little bit, like the head would go up and down, maybe smile, and the eyes would look back and forth. Quite frankly, it was the most frightening thing I'd ever seen. It was so uncanny valley, guys. It was really, really just like, okay, I know this is a picture of a human being. However, he looks like Dracula, the way you make him move. It's very, very frightening. So we'll see if Apple can do better than that company did.
The headline on this is Apple March event, everything we know so far. Well, would you like to know everything that they know so far?
Sure.
There's a little bit more than this, but I'm gonna live on this because I just think it made me laugh. What they know so far is that on March 27th, 2018, there was an Apple event. On March 25th, 2019, there was an Apple event. On April 20th, I'll repeat that, April 20th, 2021, nothing in 2020, of course, there was an Apple event. On March 8th, 2022, there was an Apple event. There wasn't anything in 2023, but we might be having a March event this year. Yes, well done. Clickbait.
Well, did they know anything else, or just that there was supposed to be an Apple event?
No, they were talking about iPads. Everybody's thinking there's going to be a March event for iPad. So we shall see. Just wait, folks. Just wait until it's actually news. It's funny because Mrs. Gaz and I were talking the other day. We'd listened to some. They come out with some financial news, right, which is always upgraded and changed a month or two later when they finally get the actual figures and can say, actually, we weren't in recession for the last 2 months running because we've revised the figures. We've got down to the nitty gritty and found that actually we were just slightly not in recession, or, the unemployment was this figure. Well, why don't you wait until you've got the actual figures so that you don't cause chaos in the marketplace and my pension funds go down because of your inability to be able to report what's actually happening rather than trying to report on what you think might be happening?
I think you have a saying for this. I'm trying to remember what it was.
No, I'm not gonna. No.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. I'm not. No, thank you.
Even in a posh voice?
Well, arseholes.
Arseholes.
MLB TV is to offer multi-view feature on Apple TV this season. Could be good. Could be interesting. Apple Watch sweat measurement described in a new patent application.
It's called Ew. Oh my God. There's a commercial with it. Do you know who Duke Nukem is or was?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
You know, the video game?
Yes.
There's this commercial here for an antiperspirant that's got like a Duke Nukem character, and he's reaching down trying to pick this guy up. And the guy is asking, well, did you use, whatever brand antiperspirant was? Oh, yeah, I used that. But in the meantime, he's just like, literally, there's rivets of what is supposed to be sweat coming off of him and hitting this guy in the face and everything else. And of course, he falls to his death. And then he uses the antiperspirant. So it's kind of like, yeah, a little late there, buddy. I don't even know why I went there.
Nor do I. Anyway, backpedaling is a good side touch to get into our next story. Remember I mentioned Peloton earlier?
Yes.
Well, apparently Peloton have backpedaled, and the company is to keep Apple Gym Kit support after apparently a massive member backlash.
Well, yeah, because let's see, people paid big money to Peloton for features that they're now saying, nah, we're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, Amazon. Napoleon is coming to Apple TV. Napoleon is coming to Apple TV Plus on March the 1st. It says, what I like the heading here. I missed this bit out, but I missed it out for a reason, because it says Napoleon is coming to Apple TV Plus for free on March the 1st. No. You have to have Apple TV Plus, which costs to see it. So it's not for free, is it? Let's be honest.
That is the best 3.5 hour movie that I probably will never see.
I'll tell you, because I'm going to watch it so I can rip it apart.
Okay, good.
13%, although it's supposed to be quite good, to be honest with you.
I've heard it's supposed to be quite good, but sorry, 3.5 hour movie? You better break that shit up. Break that up. Need to break that up.
13% of new US iPhone buyers are upgraders from Android phones in 2023, Guy.
Yeah, that's about right. That's the same number almost every year.
An anonymous reader has shared a report. For some Apple Vision Pro buyers, the honeymoon is already over. It's no coincidence there have been an uptick on social media of Vision Pro owners saying that they're returning their $3,500 headsets in the past few days. Apple allows you to return any product within 14 days of purchase. And they seem to be returning within the 14-day purchase period.
Yes. That's a mystery.
You haven't really got $3,500, but you're taking the money that you've got from all the clicks that you've got by wearing it and showing it on your channels. I see. Apple makes it official, Guy. No home screen web apps in the European Union. Apple confirmed last week that it will not support home screen web apps, commonly referred to as progressive web apps, PWAs, on iOS devices in the European Union member states under its forthcoming iOS 17.4 release.
That would be like a huge security nightmare. Or potential security nightmare.
Well, there you go.
Won't have to worry about it, I guess.
A piracy app outranked Netflix on the App Store before Apple pulled it. Over the past week, an app called Kimi curiously outranked well-known streaming services such as Netflix and Prime Video in the App Store's list of top free entertainment apps. Now, Apple has pulled the application, most likely because it gave users access to pirated movies.
I had to close the correct eye.
Yeah, I had to put this in just for you.
Thank you.
This is a highlight on how to watch Tom Brady and the New England Patriots documentary on Apple TV. Would you like me to go through the 10-part documentary series which has premiered on Apple TV Plus?
Only once I leave the room.
Okay. Foldable iPhone development allegedly paused due to failing screens. Good, Apple. Stop. Do not continue. Interestingly, though, Guy, where's all the hype for the other folding screens? I have never seen a folding screen phone out in the wild. I now don't see any adverts for these folding screen phones from the other companies that are out there.
Huh. I wonder if it was because they were super expensive, had a great big seam across the middle after you've used it for a relatively short amount of time, and just wasn't worth the trouble of having applications coded for a folding screen. I wonder if that could have anything to do with it. But Apple has nothing to worry about, Gaz, because they're pulling engineers from their Apple Car division so that they can work on a folding screen. That's what I've heard.
And make it work properly.
And make it work properly.
Apple is safe for now from the antitrust legislation in Korea, as local companies have fought back. Apple has had to make some big changes to accommodate Europe's Digital Markets Act, even if those changes seem exceedingly unlikely to have gone far enough. But for now, at least, the company is safe from similar antitrust legislation in South Korea. Epic Games plans for alternative app marketplace in the EU, and Apple has had to, or they have reinstated the developer account for Epic Games. Good luck with that, Epic, and I hope that you make up all of the losses that you've had.
Would you know what they charge in their store? 12%.
That's ridiculous.
It's so crazy. Somebody should contact Tim McSweeney and sue his ass.
Employees at Apple employees at Apple supplier Flex's India plant have staged a one-day strike. There you go. It's all over. Here's how to protect against Gold Pickaxe, the first iPhone Trojan. I'm not going to go through into this, but apparently an Android Trojan called Gold Digger surfaced last year that can steal biometric data and more from victims to compromise their bank accounts. Now the threat has evolved into the Gold Pickaxe Trojan that can infect iOS and Android. Fortunately, though, there are several simple ways to protect against the first iPhone Trojan. I'll put the link in the show notes so people can go over to that and take a look. I'll put it in Gaz's link for you, Guy, because I'm obviously not going to go into it now because there's going to be various things which you need to go through. And it's best probably to have the website up in front of you if you're going to do that. Although most of us, I don't think, are going to be targeted, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Apple are now no longer signing iOS 17.3, and they are blocking downgrade from iOS 17.3.1. I'm going to miss that article.
Okay.
A new Apple podcast bug means listeners miss the latest episodes of their show. What? There's a bug out there? Are we saying that there's an Apple device which isn't working correctly? Although, to be perfectly fair to Apple, the update is that it's now been fixed. This headline got me. I nearly fell off my chair laughing when I read this. Apple Vision Pro is not meant for the average consumer.
Which is why all those people are returning them.
Oh my God. There has been a bit of an Apple Pay outage that has been impacting Chase customers.
Oh yeah.
But doesn't it just work, Guy? Dum, dum, dum. Apparently, the EU are going to fine Apple about $500 million for anti-competitive App Store policy in music streaming. The EU just keep coming at Apple, doesn't it? I feel kind of sorry for them, to be honest with you.
I mean, this is all, honestly, I'm finding it even more and more hard to believe that they actually care and that this is just we could use like 500 million. Who's got 500 million that we can just take and make them just deal with it? Oh, that's right. Apple.
Anyway, folks, that is the end of Gaz's Snippets.
No link this week?
Oh, there is a link, actually. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
There is a link.
Put it in the show notes.
It is in the. Oh no, I haven't. I've got it in my notes to move across. I'm just copying the other one, so I just need to paste that in. Remember to put that other link about the gold pickaxe. Okay, so there is a Gaz's link this week, and it's just a headline, guy. It's just a headline. I love it. You've tried plant-based meat. Here comes meat-based plants. I'm just going to leave it there, right, and put the link in. You can go in and read it if you want. But again, it's something which made me giggle quite a lot.
I saw a story about that a couple years ago where they actually took meat and put it in the shape of like carrots and lettuce and all this stuff. It still tasted like meat, but it was just like, all right, we'll do this. We'll play this game too. And I think they.
I'm not going to read.
It was all pretty much tongue in cheek.
I am going to read the subheading. I am going to. South Korean researchers have infused actual rice grains with cow muscle and fat cells. Lovely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
see, I had no desire to eat plant-based meat, and I gotta say,
you've really not got a lot of desire.
Meat-based plants.
Yeah, that's the end of Gaz's link.
Okay, thank you, Gaz. This week we're gonna talk about some stuff that you can do that'll enhance maybe your experience with the macOS. And if you watch this on YouTube, you'll actually be able to see a live demonstration of the very first one, which is called DocMate. And this is from a company called Mac Enhance, and the website will be in the show notes. And what DocMate does, actually, let me start over. We've all kind of chosen the macOS as we believe it is better than the alternatives. However, sometimes even those other companies have some neat tricks. For example, in later versions of Windows, their version of the dock, while it's not as colorful, does something that the macOS doesn't do, like give you previews of all of the various windows you might have open for an application, highlight each selected window in blue, and whisk you off to it much faster than the macOS can. In the macOS, you go down to the dock, you select the application, that application comes up, and if you have multiple windows open in that application, you've got to find whichever window it is that you're looking for. But DocMate does it a little bit differently. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. I'm getting ready to bring this up. Okay, so here is the macOS. You can see I've got Hindenburg running, I've got StreamYard running, and that's pretty much all you can see. So I go down to the dock, and as I scoot across to, say, Chrome, you see I've got 3 windows that I can go to, and it's split across both screens. So if I choose this one, which I'm not going to because I'm not sharing that screen, or if I choose this one, now this is just a blank Google screen, but you can see it has like a blue border, or the next one, which also has a blue border. And if I click on it, it brings that right up. And I think that's pretty cool. I like that. And the other cool trick that this thing does, if you have a bunch of events on a particular day, you can go to your calendar, and obviously I don't have any events today, but it'll show you a list of all of the different events that you have for that day. You still have to open the application to view them, but it'll give you like a quick glance on what your schedule is like for the day. So this, as I said, this is from Mac Enhance. You can get a full week's trial and decide for yourself if you like it. It's $14.99. However, let me get out of this. However, come on, go away. There we go. However, it's still in beta at 0.8.7 and has not been updated in a few years' time, which really makes me nervous. But I really wanted to try it, and so far, it seems to be working great. Now, will Apple add something later on, the next version of the operating system that'll break it? Possibly. But for now, it works, and it's relatively cheap at $15. And you can find out more by going to macenhance.com and look at it there. Now, this next one is kind of similar to DockMate, but the very nature of it scared me off, and I didn't try it. I was too much of a coward to install it, especially on my main computer here. If you're a newcomer to the Mac and still occasionally miss Windows, you can make your Mac look more like it with Uber 4, and that's UBAR 4. What it does is it replaces your entire dock with a Windows-ish taskbar that also includes most of the functionality that you would see in Windows. It's also $14.99, but as I said, I was too scared to try it. I did see some demos of it, and you can see some demos of it yourself over on YouTube. And if that's something that you would like to try, there'll be links in the show notes for it. You would go to stacksocial.com, and there's a whole bunch of applications there to look at. And honestly, Gaz, if I wanted to look at Windows, I have a actual PC for that. So your mileage may vary. Now we're going to talk a little bit about Office suites. Now, some people love
I like suites.
Microsoft Office, not that kind of suite.
Oh.
Some people hate it with a burning passion, but there's no getting around the fact that sometimes you need Microsoft Office compatibility to deal with the rest of the world. Apple's Pages, Numbers, and Keynotes are quite nice as standalone apps, but their compatibility with MS Office really isn't all it could be. So what's out there that isn't from Microsoft, which will cost you and that's not to say that the deal you can get from Microsoft for $99, you get the whole Office suite, you get a couple of, I think 1 terabyte of cloud storage, and I think you can put that on up to like 5 different devices. That's not a bad deal. However, if you don't want to go with Microsoft, you can also go with one of these alternatives that I'm about to talk about. One is called Open Office, and this has been around for quite some time. It includes a word processor, spreadsheet presentation software, a draw program, a database program, and a math program that I guess it maths. I don't really understand what that's used for. There's no iOS version, so if you need cross-device compatibility, you'll need to look someplace else. It's completely free and can be used in any environment that you wish. There's no mail program, but you can't have everything. And you can find out more about it by going to openoffice.org. Now, this next one, I kind of like this one. It's WPS Office. And what makes this stand out is the built-in PDF editor and its support in iOS. So there's iOS versions of all these apps. It has all the same types of apps and is, hey, Gaz, it's AI infused. So,
Ooh,
wow. I guess.
I like a bit of AI infusion.
Yeah. If your needs are a little more stringent, you may wish to go with WPS Pro for as little as $2.99 a month per year, which gives you full PDF editing, OCR capability, and PDF conversion to Word. No advertising, and you can install it on up to 9 devices, and you get 20 gigabytes of cloud storage with a first in, first out revision history. You can find out more by going to WPS.com. And the last one, there's all kinds of suites out there, but these are the 3 that I thought were kind of the top of the tops. Only Office, much like WPS Office, They offer collaboration tools with many cloud services, and there's pricing for additional enterprise services if you need that. And you can find out more about that at onlyoffice.com. Now, this next little group, and these are going to be the last ones for this week, password managers. Now, the macOS has a password manager, and it's pretty good. It travels to your various devices through iCloud, and it has a wait, no, I'm messing this all up. I'm not reading this properly. You can use the one that's on your Mac, and it's pretty good. However, 1Password will also travel to your various devices through iCloud, has an authenticator app, and a travel mode that can keep those pesky other countries from accessing your passwords by deleting them before you cross and restoring them when you get back to, freedom home. 1Password is also cross-platform. It can be accessed through other computers, so that way lies madness, and I don't recommend it. Also available through iOS, and it's $2.99 a month for their subscription, on their yearly plan. The last one I'm going to talk about is called Dashlane, and the reviews call this a solid password manager that also monitors for site breaches and looks on the dark web for any leaked information. However, there's no desktop app, so it's browser-based only, which, to be honest, is how most people are going to use password managers anyway, and it's about $60 a year. You can find out more about that at dashlane.com. So what do you think, Gaz?
I agree with you on all of those, except actually the password managers.
Okay.
I'd say you'd missed out quite a biggie. Not particularly a new one on the block, but certainly a new one to me, and I've been using it quite a lot. It is free to use. It's open source, which is always good. The likes of Steve Gibson uses it. There is a paid option, which is still relatively cheap, something like $10, and that's a year. Might even be cheaper than that, and then you can get a little bit extra in terms of family, but you get the full suite. You don't have to pay to get the full suite. You get the full suite on an individual basis, and it's called Bitwarden.
I did read about that, but
I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put the link in for pick's sake, because it's one that I'm using. I do like it. So have a look at Bitwarden, folks, as well. But yeah,
okay, cool.
That's what I think.
Huh. So what are you doing? Are you nodding your head?
I might be.
I think he is.
Hit it. Gaz's tips. Mostly. Gaz's tips. Mostly. Gaz's tips. It's time for Gaz's tip.
Couple of iOS tips here. Quick or quicker replies. If you want a quicker reply in iMessage, if you select on the iMessage conversation, find the specific message that you want to reply to, swipe right on it. Then the selected message will be highlighted and a text box will appear, allowing you to type your reply and hit send to return to the main conversation. To the main conversation, just tap on the blurred background and you get back into the normal view. But wait, I also like sending live stickers, Guy, and I especially like the way you can turn live photos into live stickers. So this is a bit of a process here. So you tap the plus button to the left of the text input field when you're writing a message, and then tap the stickers option. Select the stickers icon in the row of sticker apps that you will see. Then tap the big plus button in the stickers menu. Next, tap on the live below the image search bar, and then select a live photo. So basically it just says it's the word live below the image. So you click on that and then you can select a live photo. Tap add sticker at the bottom of the screen. This will be fairly natural as you follow it through. And then drag it into an earlier part of the conversation. Oh, sorry, I missed a bit there. Sorry. Tap add sticker at the bottom of the screen, then tap the sticker that you just made to select you made to select it ready for sending. Alternatively, press and hold the sticker and then drag it to an early part of the conversation. This is for when you're actually putting it in. You can also long press the sticker to rearrange that particular sticker in your collection and add an effect or delete it. But that's, that comes later. But I do like using these, and I generally use them for Wilf, to be perfectly honest with you. Take a few live photos and I send them to our girls, and I'll do a little live sticker and if he's jumping up or something, and then I've got that sticker and I can just throw it into them. So mess about with that, folks, because I do like making the stickers out of live images.
And they're able to find them.
Well, when you try and do a live sticker of a dog you can't see, that's quite difficult.
It kind of would be. I would agree with that.
I'd agree with you agreeing with that.
Hit it. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips.
Okay, is that the end of the tip?
Will you let me finish?
Gaz, you are absolutely right.
There we go. Oh, my life is so much easier since I combined all of those together, Gaz. Now, you already talked about your for pick's sake. We don't have any feedback this week. But remember, if you do an iTunes review, not that I know of. Do you have something?
I thought we did. I thought we had something from James. We have. I thought it came through to you as well. No, it only came through to me. That's why. Let me see if I can quickly extract it. It's going to have to wait till next week. So, Jim, don't worry. Matt, Jim, we've got you. It's coming next week. So, yeah, thanks.
And as we all know,
the president is an utter moron.
We know these things. We do know these things.
We know those
we
things.
know.
Yes.
We know.
Yes.
So if you do an iTunes review and we speak about it on the show, if it's your first time, you just send me an email and you will get your Woo tea, which Gaz did not get right on the Mac and Forth show.
No, I didn't.
It is a big W, big O, big T, little I, little E, exclamation mark.
I gave up halfway through, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I know. It was like W-O-T.
No, I said big W, big O, T.
It's this thing. So you can get one if you do a feedback. Yeah.
Look, folks, they do exist. They really do exist.
They do.
Right.
And it's amazing.
Look, you could have just left it at the fact that they exist.
I could have, Gaz, but I didn't.
No,
now,
that's true.
If you would like to help support the show in other ways, you can go to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/MacParrot. You can go.
There we go.
There we go. You can go to our coffee page.
Now, can I just say, the reason I missed that was because my Farrago screen is in a slightly different position. So my eyes went to where the squawk normally is, but it wasn't there. And I couldn't press on the icon that I was looking at. So I then had to find it. That's why I was slightly delayed. But that's an excuse. I'm coming up with an excuse. Move on. I'm just using excuses.
All right, Kofi, Gaz, Kofi.com, ko-fi.com/MacParrot. Now, did we talk about Owen Rubin making a nice donation? I think we did.
I think you did, yes.
I think, yeah, because we were talking about having to have him on the show, which I still want to do.
Which we absolutely we do.
Oh, yeah. And you can also donate via PayPal, which would be wait for it. I don't get to say that very often.
I'm premature.
He's a premature parrot squawk.
I say that a lot.
So, okay, PayPal.me.
Well, I don't say it. Other people do.
MacParrot. There we go. If you wanted to get a hold of us, there's all different kinds of ways you can do it. And if you wanted to ask Gaz just what he meant by a premature squawk, how would they do it, Gaz?
Ever so easy. Send an email to Gaz, G-A-Z, at mymac.com.
I noticed you tried to do that too.
Yeah.
You had to do it yourself.
I did.
Nobody else got it.
Absolutely.
How dare they?
You can also contact me on the socials, pretty much Gazmaz everywhere, except it's probably Gazmaz at c.im on Mastodon. It's Gazmaz.
Yeah.
You'll know it's me because it's a silly picture. You can also contact Guy and myself on the Twitters /X, which is Guy and Gaz, GUYANDGAZ on the Twitters. You can also send an email to feedback, FWDBACK, at
MyMac.com.
MyMac.com. Now,
his name was Guy.
Guy says,
wait, hold on. I screwed up. Constantly.
I like to go with Guy.
Yeah.
Do we know it was a guy?
Pay no attention to that guy behind the curtain.
They don't.
He's the guy.
Guy's the one.
Yeah.
Guy. You remember Guy?
His name was Guy.
Ah.
His name was Guy.
Ah.
His name was Guy.
Killing me.
No fooling. No fooling. No fooling.
if you want
An email from Guy.
how would they do it?
Go to your email client of choice and type in. There you go. At mymac.com. Just one U and one Y. You can also contact me on the X Twitters as either Mac Parrot or Vert Shark. There it is. Let's see. I don't know why it still says podcast at vertshark.com because I don't have that email anymore. You can also contact me or see whatever it is I might be talking about on Counter Social and Mastodon by looking up Mac Parrot. All of those various Mac parody things. You can also contact us. Oh, vertshark.com. I'm still caught up. Yay! So that's the website that you can see all of the links to stuff on YouTube that you could have just subscribed to right there. But good thing I'm paying extra money for a website that you don't have to use. So if you wanted to call us, which so many people do, yeah, I kind of went down a rabbit hole there. Gaz, what is that Google Voice number?
703. The Google Voice number, everybody. If you're paying attention, have you got your pencil and paper ready? It's 703 828 4677. Or to be absolutely correct, it's 703 828 4677, because you can't always find the O on your keypad.
That's what she said. Anyway. Ba-da-bum. We would like to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who downloads and flippin' listens to the MyMac.com podcast. It is greatly appreciated. And we thank all of you from the hearts of our bottom of our hearts. And Gaz, I think that we're good enough. And I think that with all those apps we talked about today, that we're smart enough. And that, doggone it, Wilf, who was in here earlier, he was in the room. Woof, that amazing dog that you can't always find. People like us.
What happens now?
Yeah.
Why didn't the skeletons climb the mountain, Guy?
They didn't make any bones about it?
They didn't have the guts.
So close.
End.
so you can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on. Go on home and go home. all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on home and I go home.